Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back with that of a new story for you guys. However, I'm going to be trying something a little bit new, actually. Instead of, I was originally going to do that of 6 trailers, focusing on that of the main cast for that in my future Gundam Witch from Mercury story, actually. However, I won't be able to do that. However, I still need time to, write that for future chapters. I got chapter 1 out of the way, but I need to basically proofread it and make sure that it flows nicely. And I was thinking about just releasing that of a post on that of my community tab about the characters and their Gundams. But I decided, screw it. I'll just make a chapter for it. I've done it before with that of Strike Force, the Future Children of Number 1 as well. So I decided to do it through this one as well for this story as the startup. If you guys want me to do trailers for each of the main characters and their Gundams, like I did with Strike Force, comment down below, and I'll probably make a poll as well in my community tab. But until then, you're gonna get it through this way instead. These are the main cast and main party members for the Tales from Mercury, a Gundam / DND story. If it's kind of a work in progress. If you guys have any other titles that would work for this story, then I would totally love to know. Please tell me in the comments below. This is the best thing I could do right now. First off, we have that of the first party member and player for that of this campaign, Reiju Satsuki, D&D character, Rei Matsugi, Gundam, Nightshade Gundam, based off that of the Rogue class. Out of the campaign, in real life, Reiju is a bit of a pretty easygoing guy. He hates confrontations. He's not really much of an active person, and to be honest, he's pretty decent. He's currently that of 17 years old, actually, and is a pretty average to body student. He loves just like anyone else, he's a huge Gundam fan as well. However, when he does that of D&D, especially with his Gundam, his current character, Rei, on the other hand, is a bit of a more competitive, active, and always, headstrong person. Even though he takes up that of the Rogue class, especially for that of his Gundam, the Nightshade, he's not afraid to basically step in when need be. As for his Nightshade Gundam, it's basically a fully made, close-range, transformable Gunpla. Given that Witch from Mercury doesn't have that many, transformable mobile suits, the Nightshade is considered to be the first. Not only that, its main weapons is that of 2 armor swords, basically twin knives, and its main range weapon is that of a GN submachine gun. And I know what some of you may be thinking, why would a rogue, D&D class need a submachine gun? And I'm basically saying this outright. It's to make up for his weaknesses. The fact that the Nightshade is mainly a close-range, mobile suit is to make up for the fact that it doesn't have any long-range capabilities. I mean, sure, its best aspect is that of its agility, with that of the Berserk system added onto it, which increases its speed, reaction time, and basically and also accelerates that of the Gunpla particles. However, it's basically a double-edged sword. So to make up for that to being that of both a close-range mobility, it needs that of a submachine gun to keep enemies at a distance, or as a way to stun them as well. Not adding that of Rei's backstory for being part of the Witch from Mercury series. He's originally from that of a colony run by that of the Benerid group. His parents come from that of a small company that's part of the Benerid group. However, was soon taken in by that of another company that was taking in small companies, working together and partnering up together to grow higher up in the rankings of the company. to support his family and to help them continue to be part of this group, Ray decided to be the test pilot for one of their experimental mobile suits, that being the Nightshade, and then was soon offered up that of a scholarship for that of Astakasha Academy, alongside that of his few other friends as well and fellow test pilots. As for the other secondary campaigners and players of this story, we have that of Kyle Parr, real name Kyle Parr. Honestly, he doesn't have much of an imaginary name when it comes to picking for a D&D character. He prefers just using his real name over that of his, over making up a name after all. Speaking of Kyle, outside of D&D campaigns, he's basically a cheerful, always positive, and always ready to go kind of guy. If you ask him to do a favor, he's willing to do it, no problems whatsoever. Unless it's illegal, then he would say screw you. As for his D&D character, Kyle, he's basically a, bisexual young man, young 15-year-old actually, that goes for both male and women, and also that of non-binary people as well. He's a bit playful and always tries to tries to be positive as well, just like his real life counterpart. However, he has a bit of a, dark side behind him as well, which shines through that of his own personal Gunpla, the Beast Gundam, based off that of the Barbarian class. The Beast Gundam is mainly a Gundam that's not really good with that of speed or mobility whatsoever. Its main aspect is that of only in attacking and defense. It's basically made to take hits and keep on going. And the more hits it takes, the stronger it also becomes, just like that of the Barbarian class. Its main weapon is that of a halberd from that of the Guchin Gundam, and its main range weapon is that of a Galborg, or as in better translation, a beam bazooka. The Beast Gundam's main aspect is to deal damage, bring down the hurt, no matter what and how much struggle it has to go through to do so. Even though many of its main weapons revolve around that of close combat, it's still, such as that of its beam spikes, beam lariats on that of its wrist, that of the Dentalian knife, and its anti-ship's beam sword on its backs, it's still able to stand its ground, making it one of the strongest of the campaign's Gundams. For example, as for that of Kyle's backstory, he's basically a clone, actually. Just like that of Soletta, who is a clone of that of her big sister, Eri. Just like Eri, Kyle's original donor, who he was a clone of, is also a child whose parent was in charge of that of the Venedis group, the same group that was mainly tasked on improving that of the gun format. However, just like Eri, they were also caught up in that of the attack that happened that of 16 years ago, not wanting their child to basically die for nothing. They created a clone of him by making them Kyle. However, he ended up knowing the truth sooner than later when his parents had that of an argument, one of many. Now knowing the truth that he's not even the real Kyle, and realized that his life is basically turned into this, cesspool of doubts and unrealistically. He's made one goal to kill the current president of the Bernard Group, Delling Rembrandt, to avenge the real Kyle, to avenge the people of the Venerd group, and to basically dignify his own existence. However, that could change during this campaign, though. Who could say? The third campaign character in this story, for that of this story, real name Lee Konetsu, a 20-year-old young man who is currently going through college right now. As for his D&D character, Axel Konetsu, anyone who knows where this is going, yeah, you know where it's going. In real life, Lee is basically a abrasive somewhat always snobbish and a bit, well, arrogant, and a kind of an arrogant kind of guy. But deep down, he's really a good guy that basically wants to do what's best for everybody else and wants to help them out whenever he can, even if it does seem pompous. In reality, he has a hard time basically expressing how he feels to others. However, that hasn't really bleed much into that of his D&D character, on the other hand, being Axel Konetsu. Axel, on the other hand, is basically a boisterous, talkative, quite the extrovert as well, that also has a bit of a, attitude problem actually, and is not afraid to basically defend others even when they don't ask for it actually. It kind of shines through that of his Gunpla being the long-shot Gundam. Just as the name says, it's a Gundam based off that of the Ranger class, which never misses a shot and is always accurate no matter what as well. With that of it does have that of it has two main weapons. For close range combat, it has that of a beam tomahawk, which can also transform into that of a into an extendo beam saber. However, its true main, long range weapon is that of a tactical arms, being that of the great sword / bow weapon on that of its back. However, its secondary main long range weapon is that of a 57 high energy beam rifle actually. It also has that of a beam shield instead of that of a normal shield as well. It's not really made for that of full-on close-range combat, but it has multiple weapons to make sure that if it gets in close-range combat, that it can hold its own. As for this Gundam mainly stays behind and focuses more on support and basically dealing damage from afar after all. But added with that of its sniper function, it's basically something that you make sure to keep your eye on, if you can even find it in the distance. As for that of Axel's backstory, unlike that of the rest, Axel is actually from Earth, to be honest. And just like anyone from Earth and that of which from Mercury, he lives in that of poverty as well. However, they're part of a group that tries to make sure that keeps that of a balance between both Spatians and that of those from Earth as well. Given that the government that's part of that of the it's part of the Spatians and even those from Earth as well want to try and create that of a unified force. However, due to multiple terrorist attacks from those on Earth, and even finding out that the terrorists have that of aid from those who were part of the Benerid group, Axel's main goal is to find the terrorist supporters and take them down before things get too hairy. To do so, he became that of a test pilot for that of the long-range Gundam alongside those of the campaign as well, mainly to find this spy and informant as well. As for that of the next person on this, that's part of the campaign as well. However, instead of just doing one, why don't we go through two people as well, that being twins actually. This is Amy Carson and Deon Carson. Both twins are currently 18 years old. As for their D&D characters, Amy's D&D character is named Shania Murkoff, and as for that of Deon, his is Jakar Markov. In real life, Amy is a bit of a, wild girl, to be honest. She enjoys basically going out, roughing it, camping, basically always, outdoorsly type. Not only that, she's a bit arrogant and always confident in her own skills and abilities after all. But she does care about those around her, mainly those that she sees as her friends and family. Anyone that isn't, she kinda looks down on them. Not entirely, but not as that of a superiority complex, but more as not really caring that much about them. Her D&D character, Shania, on the other hand, is basically just like her in real life. She's outdoorsy, always active, has fun outside, exercises and all that, and is also arrogant. And just like her, she cares about her friends and family dearly. However, her D&D character has one big flaw. She values trust and loyalty more than anything. Anyone who breaks a promise to her or her family and friends are literally dead to her. Deon, on the other hand, is a bit of a shy guy. I mean, sure, he's a big, tall dude, to be honest, but in reality, he's not really much of a talkative. He's pretty shy, and he prefers to spend time by himself than be with others. However, he's not afraid to spend time with the people he cares about, from friends to family, and even that of mere strangers, not wanting to feel like he's completely alone. He's also a bit of a kind-hearted soul, to be honest, but piss him off good enough. Well, you heard the expression of don't piss off the quiet ones after all. As for his D&D character, Jakar, on the other hand, is basically similar but a little bit different. Still a little bit antisocial, but is a lot more talkative and speaks out a lot more about his, situations as well. Still a bit shy, but is not afraid to speak his mind when need be. As for their Gundams, based off that of D&D classes, Amy's, Gunpla is that of the Spellbound Gundam, based on that of the Sorcerer class. The Gundam's entire repertoire is basically full-on bombardment and power. Just like that of the long-range Gundam, it's mainly fighting in that of long-range combat. However, instead of the long-range Gundam that focuses more on precision and accuracy, the Spellbound is basically nothing but pure, raw power, dealing as much damage as can when can. It can also fight in close-range combat. It has that of a, Fin Fang spear after all. It could even use that of, beam funnels as well, such as that of the Cerebi, which from Mercury, let's just say some people may take the funnels as that of gun bits, even though that's far from the case. And since it has the parts of that of the Unicorn Gundam, it also has the new Type Destroyer system. However, this new Type Destroyer system has a special function involved in it. As for Deon's Gunpla, it's known as the Revive Gundam, based on that of the Cleric class. Originally, he wanted to make it more of a Druid class kind of Gunpla, but there wasn't really much he could do with that, to be honest, especially given the Gunplas that were available for him at the time. So instead, he decided to take up more of the Cleric class, being that of the party's healer, of course, given that the main backpack for that of the, Revive Gundam is the Double O Gundam's back twin drive system after all. So of course, a Gundam with a GN drive is also able to use Trans Am. However, besides the usual Trans Am, it also has that of a special feature, just like any Double O Gundam has. But also, for example, its main weapon is just one regular beam saber, while also using that of a dot beam rifle. I know some may be thinking, just like that of the Rogue class, why give the Cleric that of a beam weapon? Well, given that I didn't want to, overbog it with that of weapons, the beam weapon is supposed to be a symbolize of being able to, for clerics and for paladins that are able to use holy magic for that of long-range attacks, after all, and also other things too. However, the Revive Gundam is more, a support and basically companion. It can fight with basically any of the other Gunplas, especially the Spellbound Gundam, especially since its main function is to heal the party after all, with that of the Quantum Burst system. However, the Quantum Burst system has that of another system just involved into it as well, mainly for a special certain format in which from Mercury. As for the twins' D&D characters' backstories, being that of Shania and Jakar, both Shania and Jakar are actually from that of Mars. Originally they lived on Earth with that of their parents. However, their mother, on the other hand, basically abandoned them due to certain reasons, actually. Their father, on the other hand, basically had them move from that of Earth and go to Mars, which would have given them at least more options to live instead of the conditions that are happening on that of Earth after all. Both twins are basically wise, smart, and have that of a good mindset, which basically allowed them to be test pilots for that of the Spellbound and Revive Gundam, and which led them to be going to that of Ashtakashita Academy with the others. However, little did they know, going to the academy would also get them back in contact with their eschewed mother. And finally, now for the last party member, part of the campaign and story of this, Giselle Corazon. Her character name is Lavinia Vega. Giselle is 20 years old, actually. A girl currently working into that of competitive Gunpla battles, actually. Unlike the rest that do Gunpla battles for that of fun, she is actually a world-class Gunpla battler. She's mainly a, well, calm, cool, and collective, and basically rational person. She doesn't like to take unnecessary risk unless she needs to. Because of this, she comes somewhat off as that of a cold person in real life, but in reality, she's not really that bad, to be honest. As for her, well, D&D counterpart, Lavinia Vega is basically a stone cold bitch, cold to the touch and cold-hearted to those around her, except those that she sees her friends and companions, actually. I mean, on the surface, she seems like she doesn't really care. However, her actions speak louder than her words. When, if anybody that disrespects that of her friends and comrades, she's basically willing to go off the rails and savagely beat the hell out of that person that disrespects her friend, after all. Which kinda shows, given her, well, Gunpla, the key Gundam, which is based off that of the monk class. And just as the name entails, it's a Gundam entirely made for that of combat, fighting up close and personal. Given that in real life she actually was trained in that of several martial arts, from that of kickboxing, karate, kung fu, and also judo as well. And she's even dabbling in a little bit of taekwondo. But other than that, the key Gundam only has that of one main weapon, that being its twin GN pistols that can also transform into axes in combat, after all. They're basically made to keep enemies at bay or basically distract them, giving her openings to basically deal that of barrages of punches and kicks onto her enemies, given that martial arts is her main aspect. However, the key Gundam also has that of a GN drive, just like that of the Revive Gundam. Just as the Revive Gundam was made to be a support unit for that of the Spellbound, the key Gundam was made to be that of an assist partner for that of the Revive Gundam as well. When the two Gundams GN drive basically sync with each other in perfect harmony, let's just say magic happens. And I mean that literally. As for Giselle's character's, backstory, being Lavinia. Lavinia is actually the daughter of the company president that's in charge of the multiple smaller companies that unite together to make one giant company in the Mineric group. Because of her connection to her father, she was given a chance to be that of the test pilot for the key Gundam. Some believe that because of her family ties to being the company president's daughter, that she basically was given to her for free. However, no. Just like the others, she earned to be the test pilot for the key Gundam. To Lavinia, the idea of being given something without earning it is not truly a victory. To her, she truly hates nepotism more than anything in this world, which soon led to her being part of Ashtakashita Academy, which also caused her to reunite with an old childhood friend. And that's it. That's all of the main campaign party members and main players for that of D&D, The Witch from Mercury. Once again, guys, please comment down below what title I should use for this story instead. Because if I'm stuck with only this alone, I'm probably going to lose it. Like I said, if you have better names, please tell me. Anyway, if you guys like the lineup for the characters, please wait until for that of the official first chapter to come out in a couple days or so. So yeah, anyway, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to keep to date my videos upload to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, main channel, Patreon, other channel, and Cash App, all link in description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, and hope you all take care.